There we go. We shall record instead, so we can bounce around with our time here.
If they're not the right prescription. Then no, start.
Guten Tag. Shane! It's your probation officer. Get over here.
Oh? What?
It's Pam.
Sucks.
Oh, Pam wanted you. Okay. There you go. What's up?
Can I go get an ice pack? His tattoo gun. I was told to get one from my mom.
Can you do the thing first?
Yeah.
Let's do the thing first.
Apparently my phone went like 10 miles off campus.
Do we have
There you
to
go.
write that again?
No, I just need you to write it and then solve it. Yes. That's how daily quizzes work. Then don't do it, but you gotta make it up. And not make it up in another month. Make it up soon. Okay? And as a note of interest for anyone who is coming in here during Spartan time, at 2:45, again, I got a meeting. I am kicking everyone out. At 2:45, I am walking out the door. I got a meeting. Remember, all of our stuff is online. Our videos are online. Our classes, our lessons are online. If you can watch TikTok, you can watch YouTube. Okay? Make sure you're getting caught up. I was going to say, we need to get going here. All right. What was the first step that we needed to look for? Very first thing. Is. Right? Is, am, was, were, are. You look for the linking verbs because the linking verbs are going to tell you where your equals sign or your inequality is. And in this case, is at least. If your bank account is at least $100, can you have $100?
Yeah.
So it's or equal to. Is it going to be bigger or smaller? If it is at least bigger, right? You must be at least this tall to ride, right? Here or taller. So then, let's use the rest of it. 5 less than. What does that mean? I will subtract, but because it says 5 less than, where does it go? At the end. So I'll subtract 5 from a thing. That thing is going to be twice a number. By 2. Do I know what the number is? So just x, n, alpha, whatever you feel like. Okay, is at least 6 more than. 6 more than. If something is 6 more, I add. And if it's more than, I put it afterwards. I put it at the end of a thing. Next up, I hear the product of. That tells me I'm going to do what with two numbers? I'm going to multiply them. Product. Remember, we wrote all this down. Open notes, open everything. Did you write down product is multiply, sum is add, difference is subtract? The two things that I will multiply are the things separated by and, a number and 3. Now, we usually don't say x3, but since multiplication is commutative, I can say 3x instead. If you said x times 3, that's okay, because you're going to clean it up later anyway. Now that I'm here, I was going to say, Q Paxton, draw the line. The line helps me. Draw the line. So, I play, well, you get a choice. I don't care where you move stuff. We know our variable's got to be on the left by the end. Maybe you got to pancake flip stuff around, but that doesn't matter. Move something. What'd you move? Okay, I don't like -5. Move it. Okay. I undo, subtract 5 with plus 5. Getting zeros out. 2x is greater than or equal to. 3x drops. 6 plus 5 is 11. Once you move something, you play the Who's Lonely game. 2 all by himself. He's lonely because he's lazy. Bring him a date. Subtract 3x. And if I take 2 things minus 3 things, I end up with a -1 thing. And if the opposite of x is greater than or equal to 11, divide by -1 and get the real Slim Shady is less than or equal to a -11. Because I have to flop my inequality when I multiply or divide by a negative. Or if you had moved your x over to the right, at the end of the problem, you would have had to flop it back over along with your inequality. Either way. Now, the solving part was just there as practice. That's not actually part of our daily quiz. Our daily quiz is about what we did last time, and what we did last time was to make this. Okay, that's what we did last time. Now, the practice, you should be able to solve this. We've spent literally like 2 months on it. You should be able to solve this. But Did you get a 2x? Because twice a number. Did you get a 3x as the product of a number and 3? Did you, now this 6 more than and 5 less than, I'm going to put 1 each because, yeah, did you know that it was plus or minus? Did you know that it went at the end? We had a big deal about that. We said whenever it says more than, less than, it says go to the end. And then, did you get your inequality correct? There were 5 pieces to it. There are 5 points. Okay. Make sure you label it. How many out of 5? Can someone please, 5 months into the year, tell me what is the point of the daily quizzes again? Why do we do it?
Know how to do it. And for practice.
It's a good way to get your grade up.
Oh, that too. The daily quiz is that gut check moment. We did stuff last class. This is what we did last class. Can you do what we did last class? If you are getting a 4 out of 5 or a 5 out of 5 on this, that means you're good. Maybe you just made a little goof. Maybe you said 5 minus 2x by accident. You just forgot it went at the end. Okay? I'd call that a 4 out of 5. You just swapped your order. But you still had subtract. You still had the right things. Okay? But if you're getting a 3 out of 5, so maybe you have you did 5 minus 2x, you had your inequality the wrong direction, and I mean, that's 2 different things. Now we're down to a 3 out of 5. That means you need to ask some questions. And come in during Spartan time. Work on this with me in a resource room, academic life skills. Text me questions on Remind, especially if you're making up lessons because you're gone. We had a lot of absences first semester. It was about half of our class was on that list that said if you don't pass the final, you don't pass the class. Which means we got a good number of people in here who are here just by mercy. Because someone spoke up for you and said, give them a shot. If they ain't doing good during second semester, we'll just pull them from the class. Okay, y'all know what triage is?
No.
Battlefield triage, medical triage.
Save what you can.
Save what you can. Triage is literally, I do not have enough resources to help everyone. That guy's going to die anyway. Give him some morphine. Go help this guy. Sometimes kids got to do that with their classes. Things looking a little rough at the end of the semester. You're like, yo, I got a 20% in that class. I ain't passing. I'm just not going to do that one, and I'm going to focus on these other ones. Well, some of you are in here by the grace of someone who has stuck up for you. You might end up later in the semester, it's looking rough. It was really rough first semester. They might just pull you from the class and said, let's focus on getting your other ones and try again next year. And I don't want that to happen to any of you. So if you're getting that 3 out of 5 on this, that means you have to ask questions. You have to be more engaged. If you're getting a 2 out of 5, a 1 out of 5, bruh, it means you need help. Come get help. Okay? And it can take a lot of guts to try to do that. So, we left off with 2-7. Was our compound inequality, or no, that's today. Was our word problem inequalities. We did not do the ones at the bottom. Yep. Let's see. Yep.
I have none of the like 2.7 pages.
That is a packet. It's in your packet still, if you still have that. Otherwise,
His packet didn't have any of the add-ins.
Yeah.
It was just the.
were you the one where you had to print off a packet later?
Yeah.
Sharks. Hold on. I've got a spare 2.6. I got a spare 4. I don't know if I have a spare 2.7, 2.8. Guess we got to ask that question. Who does not have 2.7? Who does not have 2.8 for today? Okay. I'll print off a few.
Thanks.
Okay. Print. Lounge. Both sides. We'll do like 4 of them. Is there anyone who does not have 2.8 for today? Okay, you don't have your old packet? Okay. Yeah. 2.8 should be right after 2.7 in your packet. Got ripped off? We know that it's at the end of the packet. Some people are a little rough on their stuff, and maybe it tore off the back. So I'll get those going too. Okay. I'm going to go grab some stuff off the copier, but before that, I'm going to put up here 2.8, 2.7, not pre-calc notes. Through 14.
It's not it's X. These zombies who didn't do it out. I'm just trying to get it out.
Okay. I'm going to go get the thing. You check your work. I'm going to argue about the last one because there's some tricky stuff going on there. Okay. Things happen. Take care of things. After things. We need to get going here. Most of these were set up as two-step inequalities. They were not horribly difficult. It was just a matter of practicing the words behind them. Are there any of them that we need to go through? Okay. Remember, it is not enough to just have it written down. You have to know how to do it. There's a good chunk of you last semester that maybe turned in your stuff on quiz day and it looked like you did your assignment. Y'all, I walked around the room. I know who didn't do it. How many of you thought it looked like you did your assignment? You thought your homework should have been 100% or close to, but it wasn't anything close to that. Because when I'm coming around, I can see who didn't do diddly, who wasted their time in class, who just copied something off the board, and now it looks like you got a 1 out of 5 because, hey, at least you got it there. I don't want that to happen. Okay? I write N because I'm used to that with pre-calc and sequence notation. N is just a number. A number is a variable. We don't know what it is. I could have used, instead of N, I could have picked anything. What if I could have said Z? I could have said J. If you put X, that's fine. Okay? Yeah, you could have put K. Maybe you got squirrely about it and you decided you were going to be facetious little turd, and instead of N, maybe you decided instead of a variable, you were going to put a little turd emoji on there for every one of them. It's a placeholder, right?
I thought it was like
A bowl of ramen.
I thought it was like a bowl of soup or something.
Okay. I want to come down here to the second 14. Huh. Okay, this one. There was one or two of you who were asking about this specifically. This one gets scary because how many of us, okay, is greater than? We know that. 5 times the number. We know that. 8 plus 4 times the number is how most of us are going to read this.
Oh, I didn't do that.
This is what it says right now. 4x, yeah. 4 times x. What I need you to be aware of is I can change the meaning of this with one little thing. Right now, that is 8 plus 4 times a number. Now, that's 8 plus 4 times a number. I want you to put in your notes. Remember right before this, we had a page where we had all of our word stuff? That's what I forgot. That was our 4th bullet. A comma. A comma is a end of expression or parenthesis. Wait, parentheses, parenthesis, parenthesis. Words are hard. Okay.
Yeah, I do it all the time.
The end of a parenthesis is denoted by either hitting the is, am, was, were, are, the linking verb. If I hit the end of a portion of the sentence, it can be denoted with a comma. That one tick mark, that one little comma can completely change how a problem is set up. And that gets tough. That gets real tough. And that was something that we were not able to go through because it wasn't in any of our examples. Okay, a comma is the end of an expression or parenthesis.
I'm trying.
Da-dum. Da-dum. Da-dum, 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 da-dum. Come on, bud.
Okay, fine. Go.
Okay. So, y'all got a margin or something somewhere. I want you to see this. It's I want you to write that in math. Put that word expression into an algebraic expression. Translate that. I don't care where, scrap paper, notes. Okay. I'm hearing 2x minus no. 2x minus 5 is if I have a comma there. Because it puts the 2 and the x together and says I am only multiplying the x. The comma separates them. As it stands right now, without this guy, twice means 2 times. Did I ever run across a comma or an is or a period, something to say stop what you're doing? No. So that means I am multiplying a number minus 5. If you never run into that comma or that is, am, was, were, are, or period, if you never run into that thing that says stop, then this is 2 times whatever I'm about to say. And that means you might have parentheses. This is a huge level up moment. I'll have kids in Algebra 2 that can't get that through their skulls. Okay? This is a big level up moment. So I want you to have that maybe as an example. If I say twice a number minus 5 versus 2 times a number minus 5, well, that is 2x minus 5. Because I have that comma there to cut it off. Okay? Y'all ever seen old Forrest Gump?
Yeah.
When he would just run, and they like ran out of the stadium? And eventually they had to get like the fan section in that corner to say, stop! To tell him to stop running? There, I hit the comma. That's your stop sign. That says you are done multiplying now. Move on with the rest of the problem. Okay? If you don't have the comma to cut it off, if you don't have the word is to cut it off, then you just keep running. Okay? Yes. Okay. And this is also a big problem that I have with a lot of modern or older algebra textbooks is they will write this and then this will be in their solutions. And that is just blatantly incorrect. And it's something as small as a comma. Well, small as a comma, not small as the comma. Because the comma is a 9-9 trample vigilant haste dinosaur. So, Magic. I play card games. I'm a dork. Okay. So, that was the thing I wanted to finish off there. Honestly, I would like to do the word stuff. Those 5 problems that we didn't do, don't cross them out. But let's move on to 2-8. We'll come back to those if we have time. I got to do a little triage here. Okay? Instead, I want everyone on 2-8. Compound inequalities. Okay? Particularly if your parental or guardian units are not exactly in sync, you know the words and or. Do you have to make both of them happy or one of them happy? Teenagers are notorious for manipulating that. If you want to go to the basketball game tonight, who are you asking?
Dad. Mom. Neither. I'm actually just.
Okay, the smirk on some of your faces is like, yeah, I know this game. Okay? Where one or the other is going to say yes, one or the other is going to say no, you go to the one who's going to say what you want. Mom, do I have to go into Aunt Kathy's this weekend? She's weird. She's got like this cat and like clown statues everywhere. I don't know. Okay? If you ask the one person and you know what the result is, versus if you ask one of them, you might as well have asked either one of them because they're going to talk about it first. Okay? And or. You want to go to a movie on Friday with your friends. Your parents say you have to, well, not that. Your parents say, okay, but you have to do the dishes and clean your room.
Oh. I always hate when that happens.
What happens if you just do the dishes?
You can't do anything.
It got done, didn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now don't look for the loopholes like that, guys. I know. And means both. You have to satisfy both conditions. But what if they say, all right, you can go, but you got to clean your room or do the dishes? You got to do one of them. It depends. Some of you, your room is just, wow. We see your backpacks. We know what that room looks like. Okay? Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I know how set that up.
Okay, so the ands and the ors.
So
Everyone, come over here. This is an and. Ready? This says and. So, graph this one. Or you lightly, don't you dare use a pen. What? I asked who else needed it.
I did. I was one of the ones who said.
No, I asked when I came in with them.
Oh, I wasn't here yet.
Okay. So, b is greater than -1. Open or close circle.
done.
At -1. Where am I going? Left or right? I hope you did that lightly and in pencil. Because that ain't the answer. What about this?
You go to 3.
You go to 3.
You do a closed circle and make it go the other way.
Okay.
Then you get rid of the ones on the edges.
And because it says and, you have to say, where is mom happy? Where is dad happy? When they are both true. So we get rid of all that stuff, And it's everything in between, because that's where they're both happy, where they're both true. Now, these ones, these and sandwiches that go in together, okay, those ones have a special way to write them. And I want you to have this in your notes, highlighted, big King Kong, like Sharpie it, something. Your low number, Pac-Man, X, Pac-Man, your high number. Okay? This is called a compound inequality. You know, I mean, you all know the word compound, right? You've heard of compound fractions. You've heard of compounding the problem. Okay? Compound means it's complicated. I have put more than one thing together. Okay? Compound numbers further in math are going to have a rational and an irrational component that can't be put together. They just sit there side by side, all awkward like. So this, what was my lowest number in my answer? -1. My highest number? This was an open circle, less ink. This was a closed circle, more ink. And X was between them. So that's how I write it. You notice both of the Pac-Mans are eating to the right. Because on a number line, the bigger numbers are to the right. X was bigger than -1, and 3 was bigger than X. You set it up just like a number line. Okay? Now that's an and. With an or, we get to be lazy and just throw the word or in between them. But with an and, this one is already set up for us. They didn't say the word and, but I think we can figure it out. Where's my low number? Open or closed circle? Ooh. Ooh. Which is it? More ink here, more ink there. Okay, it happens. And then 4, open. And because P is in between them, it's everything in between them. That's my compound inequality. And. Kind of like maybe, I don't know, mom says you need to work at least 2 days this week. Okay? You're being a bum. You need to work at least 2 days this week. And then grandpa says you ain't working more than 4 days. Uh-uh.
3 days. Or 2 days.
So from 2 to 4, right? Anywhere in there, if I work 2, 3, or 4, or any portion thereof, maybe it's like you picked up an hour and a half here or there covering for someone. Anywhere in from 2 to 4, you're okay because you made both of them happy. You met both conditions. Come on, you. So, these ones got a little different flavor. You know what, actually? I want you to do 3 and 6 right now. 3 and 6. Just do 3 and 6. I want to talk about the other two. Number 3 and number 6.
Easy peasy.
That's that part. That's that part. So where's my answer? Everywhere in between. Now I'm going to show you something here. A little cheater. Couldn't I also write this as -3?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
No.
we're all in agreement. Pac-Man is still eating X. It's still no line. It's the same thing, just pancake flopped.
Oh.
Here's why. That's how you write your inequalities. You went from -3 to 4 with an open circle here and a closed circle here, and X was everything in between. Okay? So when I see -1 and 3, both closed circles, and P is in between them, what that's saying is P is greater than or equal to -1, and P is less than or equal to 3. Less than 3, but greater than 1, everything in between. Okay? What I wanted to do with you here, because we need to check this, look at 2.
There you go.
2 is written incorrectly. You got any siblings?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. 4 siblings.
Okay.
Wait, is it because they'll both be close?
5 siblings? Who's the most annoying one? Okay, you're Geneva's little brother. Okay.
Me.
If I was going to list out the siblings of the family, would it be correct to list them from youngest to oldest and put your little brother in front of you? Would it be correct to put you in front of your little brother? Here's my kids, youngest to oldest, Geneva, and then start with the brother. Now maybe they're talking about maturity. Okay. I don't know. This thing is written backwards. It should look like a number line. Pac-Man should always be eating to the right when I do a compound inequality. So, just like you got that big extra wide spatula and you're flipping grilled cheese, whomp, flip the whole thing over. -5, 2, Q is in the middle. Make sure Pac-Man is still eating 2. Pac-Man is still eating Q. Okay? We said that these are supposed to be written as your low number and then your high number. This did not look like that. It was out of order, so I needed to rewrite it. It was backwards. Okay? You ever just randomly look down and like, oh, that's why my feet hurt, and they're on the wrong feet? Your shoes? It shouldn't be happening by the time you're a teenager. Happened with my 4-year-old yesterday.
It still happens.
Okay. So, what I also want to talk with you about is the weird unicorn cases. And that's why I said leave this one alone. What if I put a negative right here? I want you to try to figure it out. I want you to try to figure it out. I put a negative next to the 2. Yeah, put a negative in front of the 2 and then see if you can figure it out. Remember that and means both. Definitely pencil. The only reason we should be doing math in pen is we have an erasable one or we're insanely confident. And even then, that's a little sketchy. Or you just really, really, really like colors.
If we're adding
I think I did it.
I color code this stuff.
Yep. Yep. I always love looking at Kai's tests. They look like someone murdered Bing Bong the Clown. There's like 9 colors on there. It's great. Just imagine a little clown just hanging out on your paper. And you take a big old mallet. Splat!
Don't do that.
Yeah?
My Mr. Pennyworth, 6th grade size.
Okay, watch what happens here. -3. Open or close circle.
Open.
Left or right? It says D is bigger or smaller.
Smaller.
Look at what Pac-Man's eating. D is bigger. See if I flip-flopped it? Right? That says D is less than -2. It's everything in between, right? That's how we're used to it. I said leave the pencil alone. Or I said use a pencil. What if that was a +2? That's a -3. What if I swap that to that now? See if you can reason it out. On 5. Now it's D is less than 2 and D is greater than 3. I can smell the burning rubber from the engine belts in your heads smoking right now. Because there's so many of you that I said the words and you just started squinting. Name a number that is less than 2 but greater than 3.
2.5.
That's not less than 2. Less than 2 but greater than 3.
3.5.
But that's not less than 2.
It is incorrect. It is not.
It's not possible. There is no solution. This would be like saying, Mom says, you know what, your grades are really bad. I don't want you working at all this week.
Oh, what?
At all.
I wish. You're going to get fired.
And then Dad says, you need to work at least 3 hours this week. You still owe me for your insurance. Are you going to make both of them happy?
No.
No.
I'm making my dad happy.
Okay.
My dad's scared.
I would rather work so I can pay off
Now,
Afterwards to pay off my dad's.
and then there's consequences for not having made both of them happy, right?
Well, you could just explain to them that you can't make.
And then we get into the real world context. It's just an example, okay? This idea that you might actually not have a solution stems from, I think, do y'all have a blank page on the back? Isn't there a blank? Yeah, there is. Okay.
No, I don't.
Can't read that.
Leave room below this. You're going to do the same thing for or later.
Or.
But right now for and. If I start with I'm giving you the cheat codes here. I hope you're locking it in. Okay. If the ones we've been doing so far are like this. X is greater than 3 and less than 4. Because they're both going in the same direction. Or towards each other, sorry. See how there's an overlap between them. Those are the normal ones that we see. Every now and then we're going to get these weird leprechaun riding a unicorn ones that we have to be aware of. We got to know they exist. In this one, see how they're both going the same direction? In this one, they're both going the same direction. In this one, they're going opposite directions. So we just ran across that one. If I say you've got to be less than 3 and bigger than 4, and I said the word and, where's your answer? Where are these two overlapping? So my answer is no. There is no solution to that one. I want you to look at the top one. I said and. You have to be bigger than 3 and bigger than 4. Mom says you can't date until you're 14. Dad says you can't date until you're 16. If you have to make both of them happy, 16 and older, right? So this one, that's my answer. This overrules the other because it's the only place that both of them are happy. Mom says you can only be on your Xbox for 8 hours this weekend. For a weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, 2 or 3 hours each night. That's plenty of gaming.
Yeah.
Y'all, I get 90 minutes to myself every day that is unscheduled.
What do? You play Xbox?
No, that's just the unscheduled time. Most of that I have to work. I have to take my work home. I've gotten out of my house to go do something at the game store once in the last 10 weeks. Okay? Now, Dad says you can no more than 4 hours this weekend. You got chores to do.
That's still fine. Yeah.
To make them both happy, you have to take the smaller one, right? That's this. If they're both pointing this way, you go for the overlap. And this would overrule because that's where they're both pointing. Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. I want you writing this because we're going to do one just like it. So after that, just put a big old line. And then when we get to the or stuff, I'm going to have you put another one of these for ors. Okay? This is your cheat code where this right here, this is the normal one. This is the one we normally have. Those other three will happen, particularly if your math teacher, who's annoyed at the people who aren't paying attention, decides to make it the daily quiz.
Hard pass.
You can't, or else you won't.
True.
Okay? So we all got those unicorn ones written down? All right. Everyone got them?
Yup.
Okay. Because here's what you're doing. Those 8. And that's it.
That's it.
That is what we're doing today.
Wait.
That's your homework. Or 6. Sorry, those 6.
Is that this 8 or this page?
From the original page, from the beginning. Maybe you should go staple those.
I should staple these into this. Yeah, I'm gonna staple these into this.
Like that.
Just like
Okay.
Sweet.
Those 6. You've got 15, 18 minutes to do 6 problems. I would like you to make sure that you write numbers 11 and 10. When you finish them, make sure you write it as an and sandwich like these. Oh, wait, we haven't got to that stuff yet. Never mind. Okay. I forgot how this was set up. Okay, never mind. We just probably won't have homework. Okay. Look at number 7. I forgot. It's notes page, and then assignment. That's what it was. That's what happens when you have to make up your own crap because you don't have a book that works. You ever seen someone have a triple balance? What are you? Stop.
No, I have not.
A triple balance. You probably last saw them in physical science or middle school. Everyone all knows a single balance, but have you seen the one that's got the 3 different trays?
Yeah. Is that like the thing that's on the
You mean like a scale?
court of law sigil?
But 3 of those instead of just 2.
Yes, kind of.
Not just Louisa, tip, tip, tip till you pop. It's 3 of them. Okay?
Oh.
Or like the really good Harlem Globetrotters or something, where they're spinning a ball on each finger and a foot. Okay? Just blowing your mind that people do that? What?
People do that.
Yes, Harlem Globetrotters. Look them up on YouTube. Okay? That's what this is. It's a triple balance. Which means we already know if you do something to one side, you do it to the other. So if I subtract 3 from one part of it, I have to subtract 3 from the other parts as well. Paxton,
Put the line.
put the lines on both of them
Wait, huh?
and make sure that if you subtract 3, you subtract 3 from all 3 parts to keep it all balanced. Okay? To keep the whole thing balanced, I need to subtract 3 from all 3 parts. Which means now I have 4 minus 3 is 1. My inequality is still here. W's in the middle, this zeroes out. Less than or equal to 2. And then go and graph it like we just did. At 1. Open or closed? I heard both.
Less ink open.
Less ink here, less ink there. At 2.
That one's closed.
And W is in between them. What you do to 1, you do to all 3. And I highly recommend putting that line there, not just because Paxton's going to want us to. I want you to put that line there because I did the compound inequalities last semester with my algebra half crew. And I saw so many of them that would subtract, like they'd subtract 3 here, subtract 3 here, and then just make this disappear. And just say W is less than 2. Put the lines there so you have your sections so you know what goes where. Okay, so that's the idea behind it. That'll get you through most of them. What's one on there besides 12? I'm going to do 12. What's another one on there besides 12 that you're like, okay, I know how to do that. I know how to do that. What is this? Okay, 10 and 11, right? 10, instead of having something in the middle and do it to all 3 parts, you solve both of them, sketch both of them, and see where they land. So here I'll add 1, getting y is less than 3. It says this inequality and that one. This says y is less than 3. This says y, well, let's find out. Minus 2, minus 2. Get y is greater than or equal to negative 1. This guy says, close circle, everything that way. Specifically because we have the word and. Because I have an and, I need to go where they overlap. Do not leave it like this. Get rid of the other stuff, because that's your answer. Where you overlapped. Now, I can't just put an and in between these two inequalities either. And has its own special and sandwich answer. We said you're going to put this one is your low number. This one's your high number. Y was in between them. Pac-Man always eats to the right. This one was closed. Okay? So you solve this one, solve that one. Sketch them. Look at your unicorn sheet. Which one's my answer? Where they overlap. Erase all the stuff that isn't an overlap. It's in between, so I can write my and sandwich. I can put my y in the middle of them. That's the only time you get to use multiple symbols like this in math. At least until you're older. Okay. Okay. So if we just have the word and, do them both, find where they overlap because we said and. I would like you, can you figure out that one now? Yeah. I would like you to try 8, 9, 11. I want you to try those 3 right now. You've got 10 minutes. Get them. Hi. Oh. Okay, add 5, 7, 7, 2, 5. And then you wrote your and sandwich. Good job. Okay, 9. Oh, we subtract 2 to get rid of 2. Remember, you're getting rid of the one in the middle. And then that one, bigger than that, smaller than that, everything in between. Okay, now write your and sandwich like we just did with this one.
Okay.
That high-low thing, where'd you put your notes? You didn't. Buddy, killing me here.
Sorry.
Okay?
I'm sorry.
On these and ones, it's your low number, x, high number.
Okay.
Oof.
So then this one.
Okay.
I don't even know what to start.
All right, let me grab a pencil instead. And we will